you consider yourself a gaming enthusiast? Have you ever wondered what the rarest games in the world are? Games that are so hard to find that they're practically priceless? Join us today as we count down the top 10 rarest video games ever made. These are the games that collectors and enthusiasts spend years searching for, and some of them are so rare that they've only been seen by a handful of people. So without further ado, let's dive in. Number 10. Gamma Attack, Atari 2600. Gamma Attack is considered one of the rarest video games in the world, with only one known copy in existence. Developed in 1983 for the Atari 2600, Gamma Attack was never released for public sale due to the video game crash that occurred that year. Instead, the game was intended to be a prototype for a potential licensing deal with Marvel Comics. The gameplay involves controlling a spaceship as it navigates through an asteroid field, fending off enemy spaceships and giant spiders. The game is notable for its unique gameplay mechanics and impressive graphics, which were ahead of their time for the Atari 2600. The only known copy of Gamma Attack was discovered in 2008 by a collector named Anthony Donado, who found it at a garage sale in Cedar Falls, Iowa. The game was subsequently sold at auction for $500,000 in 2020, making it one of the most expensive video games ever sold. Number 9. Air Raid, Atari 2600. Air Raid is another rare game for the Atari 2600, with only a handful of known copies in existence. The game was developed by Men, a vision in 1982, and featured gameplay similar to that of Space Invaders. The game involves defending a city from an aerial assault by enemy aircraft using a combination of cannons and missiles. The game's unique cartridge design, featuring a T-shaped handle on top, sets it apart from other Atari 2600 games. Air Raid's rarity is due in part to its limited distribution and the fact that it was only released in North America. The game is highly sought after by collectors and has sold for as much as $33,000 in recent years. Number 8. 1990 Nintendo World Championships, NES. The 1990 Nintendo World Championships is a rare video game cartridge for the Nintendo Entertainment System, NES, featuring a collection of specially designed game challenges. The cartridge was created for a nationwide video game tournament held in the United States in 1990. The gameplay consists of 3 timed challenges featuring custom versions of Super Mario Bros., Rad Racer, and Tetris. Players compete to achieve the highest score in each challenge, with points awarded based on performance. Only 116 copies of the cartridge were produced for the tournament, making it one of the rarest video game cartridges in the world. Of those, 90 were given away as prizes at the tournament, with the remaining 26 given away in a separate contest held by Nintendo Power Magazine. Today, the 1990 Nintendo World Championships cartridge is highly sought after by collectors and has sold for as much as $90,000 in recent years. The game's rarity and historical significance make it a valuable piece of video game history. Number 7. Red Sea Crossing, Atari 2600. Red Sea Crossing is a religious-themed video game developed for the Atari 2600 in 1983. The game is based on the biblical story of Moses parting the Red Sea to allow the Israelites to escape from Egypt. In the game, players control Moses as he navigates through the Red Sea, avoiding obstacles and collecting power-ups along the way. The game's unique gameplay and religious theme make it a sought-after collector item among both video game and religious memorabilia collectors. Only a few copies of the game are known to exist, with one copy selling at auction for $13,877 in 2012. The game's rarity and historical significance as one of the few religious-themed video games make it a unique addition to any collection. Number 6. Stadium Events, NES. Stadium Events is a rare video game cartridge for the NES developed by Bandai in 1987. The game features a collection of track and field events, including hurdles, long jumps, and high jumps. The game was originally released as part of a set of accessories called the Family Fun Fitness Pad, which allowed players to control the game by running and jumping on a special mat. However, the game was quickly recalled and rebranded as World Class Trek Meet when Nintendo purchased the rights to the game's accessory. Today, only a handful of copies of Stadium events are known to exist, with one copy selling for $41,300 in 2010. The game's rarity and unique gameplay mechanics, combined with its historical significance as one of the few video games that used a physical accessory for control, make it a valuable addition to any video game collection. Number 5. Super Mario Bros. NES Test Launch Version. The test launch version of Super Mario Bros. For the NES is one of the rarest and most sought-after video game cartridges in the world. The game is essentially a prototype version of the classic 1985 platformer, featuring a number of differences from the final version of the game. These differences include different enemy placements, altered level designs, and other minor changes. The test launch version of the game was used by Nintendo to test the game before its official release. Only a few copies of the test launch version of Super Mario Bros. Are known to exist, with one copy selling for $140,000 in 2021. The game's rarity, historical significance as a prototype version of one of the most beloved video games of all time, and its unique differences from the final version make it a highly valuable and sought-after collector's item. Number 4. Chitamin 2 NES. Chitamin 2 is a rare and infamous video game cartridge for the NES, developed by Active Enterprises in 1992. The game is a side-scrolling action platformer featuring 3 playable characters and a variety of enemies to fight. The game was produced in very limited quantities before the company went bankrupt, and many of the cartridges were destroyed. Only a few copies of the game are known to exist today, with some estimates suggesting there are fewer than 10. Despite its rarity, Chitamin 2 is widely regarded as one of the worst video games ever made, with poor controls, graphics, and gameplay. However, the game's fame and rarity have made it a sought-after collector's item, with copies selling for upwards of $10,000. Number 3. Kizuna Encounter Neo Geo. Kizuna Encounter is a fighting game developed by SNK for the Neo Geo in 1996. The game is a sequel to the popular Fu on Super combo game and features a unique tag team gameplay mechanic that allows players to switch between characters during a match. However, what sets Kizuna Encounter apart from other fighting games of its era is its rarity. The game was only released in Japan and is one of the rarest Neo Geo games, with only a few copies known to exist outside of Japan. The game's rarity and unique gameplay mechanics have made it a highly sought-after collector's item, with copies selling for thousands of dollars. In Kizuna Encounter, players can choose from a roster of unique characters, each with their own fighting style and abilities. The tag team gameplay mechanic adds an extra layer of strategy to the game, as players must decide when to switch between characters in order to maximize their chances of winning. Despite its rarity and unique gameplay mechanics, Kizuna Encounter wasn't a huge commercial success. The game failed to make much of an impact on the gaming scene at the time of its release. However, in recent years, the game has gained popularity among collectors and retro gaming enthusiasts. The rarity of the game, combined with its unique tag team gameplay mechanics, has made it a highly sought-after addition to any Neo Geo collection. In fact, some collectors are willing to pay top dollar to get their hands on a copy of the game. The highest price paid for one of these copies was $12,500. Number 2. Atlantis 2 Atari 2600. Atlantis 2 is an Atari 2600 game that was developed by Imagic in 1982 as a sequel to the original Atlantis game. The game offers improved graphics and gameplay mechanics, making it a significant improvement over its predecessor. However, what sets Atlantis 2 apart from other games of its era is the fact that it was never sold in stores. The game was only available through a mail-order promotion by Imagic, making it a rare and obscure game. It's estimated that only a few hundred copies of the game were produced, making it a highly sought-after collector's item. The rarity of the game, combined with its historical significance as one of the few Atari 2600 games released exclusively through mail order, has made it a highly sought-after addition to any video game collection. In fact, some collectors are willing to pay $18,000 to get their hands on a copy of the game. Number 1. Bonk's Adventure, Sega Genesis. Bonk's Adventure is a highly sought-after platformer video game developed by Red Company and Atlas for the Sega Genesis in 1994. The game is based on the adventures of Bonk, a prehistoric caveman who can use his head to attack enemies. The game's rarity is one of the main factors that makes it highly desirable among collectors. Bonk's Adventure was released in limited quantities in North America, and today, complete copies of the game can fetch upwards of $500, with unopened copies selling for even more. The game's rarity and high value make it a valuable addition to any video game collection. In addition to its rarity, Bonk's Adventure is highly regarded for its high-quality graphics and engaging gameplay. The game's colorful visuals and catchy soundtrack create a fun and immersive atmosphere for players. The unique gameplay mechanics, such as Bonk's ability to use his head as a weapon, add to the game's appeal and make it stand out from other platformers of its time. Bonk's Adventure also has historical significance as one of the few Bonk games released on a non-Nintendo console. The character was originally developed by Hudson Soft for the TurboGrafx-16 console, and most of the Bonk games were released exclusively on Nintendo consoles. As a result, Bonk's Adventure on the Sega Genesis is a notable game for collectors and fans of the series. So it seems enough for this video. If you enjoyed watching it, give it a thumbs up to show your appreciation and click the subscribe button to join our wonderful YouTube community. Thanks for watching.